Although feed represents the largest single production expense for cattle operations, producers know how important it is to provide their animals with the nutrition they need through every stage of development. Lane Nordland introduces us to a company that helps producers track down the highest quality ingredients for their rations.
The NCBA trade show is truly full of opportunities for cattlemen and women to meet suppliers of agricultural products to help making getting the job out on the ranch done easier. And feed options are also very important out on our operations. And joining us here today is Chris Van Olinda with Commodity Specialist Company. And you were able to talk with cattle producers about the forage products that you provide the industry. Let's talk a little bit more about the conversation you had with producers.
Well, a lot of the producers that come by have started doing their own mixing. Classically, a lot of producers have just bought feed at the feed mill, and that's fine. But as they get bigger in the byproduct feed situation, Distillers grain, for instance, it becomes more and more available. They want to do more and more on-farm mixing. And that's where our company comes in. We are in the business of providing bulk feed ingredients to farms and ranches across the United States.
Now, Chris, one thing about cattle, they can utilize almost anything, and one product, of course, is barley, and you have a great relationship with a lot of breweries out there.
That's true. One of the byproducts to the brewing industry in the United States is spent brewer's grain, and our company handles about 65% of all the spent brewer's grain in the country, and that comes from large breweries and smaller craft breweries. So we're kind of doing a sustainable thing there, where it's making a full circle, and we're able to use that byproduct back into the cattle industry, whether it be beef or dairy.
And that word sustainability, I think that is one great thing out there, how we can use multiple aspects of agriculture to help continue on the next process of agriculture. What are some of those other products you reuse, we could say?
There is the byproduct of the ethanol industry, which is used very extensively in the beef cattle, dried and wet distillers grain. Soybeans are crushed to make soybean oil, and what's left over there is soybean meal and hulls. Cottonseed oil, same thing, cottonseed meal, cottonseed hulls. So there's numerous products that come out of the food chain that the cattle can actually utilize very well, and most generally a little less expensively too.
Now, throughout the year, what are some of the suggestions you have for producers that are feeding these different types of products? When is it more relevant, one product versus the other?
I'd like to explain to my customers that they probably need to take a look at doing some contracting, forward contracting for their wintertime feed needs. I'd start looking in July. Historically, people have liked to look into October, but you might be a little behind the curve at that point. So yeah, I would try to figure out what I was going to need for the winter time and start doing some pricing. And again, we do forward contracting, so that would be the time I'd look for my winter feed needs would be in the early fall.
Chris, if our viewers would like to get a hold of you for information on your commodities or that forward contracting you provide as well, where can they find you online and maybe your telephone?
I have a 800 number, 800-767-2922. And as far as an online presence, we have a website that is www.csc-world.com.
Well, Chris, thanks for joining us here today, and there's nothing like fattening up those calves to make sure we have a nice steak at the end of the day. Kevin, back to you.